Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why, after you give someone space, they come back into your life? Why, after a period of no contact, he suddenly reaches out or shows interest again? Today, I want to talk about why men return to you after no contact. And it's not magic, it's psychology, human emotion, and the undeniable pull of connection. First, let's understand what no contact really does. When you step away and stop communicating, you create a pause. That pause gives both of you time to reflect. For men, this is especially powerful. When you step back and initiate no contact, you are creating space, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally for both yourself and him. It might feel counterintuitive at first because our instinct is often to reach out, to seek reassurance, to fill the void with constant communication. But the truth is, absence has a unique power. It allows a person to pause, reflect, and truly recognize what they have been missing in their life. Men in particular often need this kind of distance to process their feelings. In the midst of daily interactions, emotions can be clouded by routine, distractions, or misunderstandings. When you remove yourself from the equation for a while, it gives him the opportunity to notice the subtle yet meaningful ways you impact his life. No contact is not about ignoring someone to punish them or play games. It's about giving them the chance to appreciate you in your absence. There is a natural human tendency to take what is always available for granted. When someone is constantly there, it is easy to overlook the little things that make them special. The warmth of their presence, the way they make life feel lighter, or the sense of comfort and security they bring. But when that presence is temporarily removed, it shines a spotlight on all the things that may have gone unnoticed before. Suddenly, he remembers your laughter, your smile, the way you listen without judgment, and the energy you bring into a room. These are the things that no amount of talking or chasing could ever communicate as effectively as the quiet, steady absence. Creating space also allows for self-reflection on your own part. It's a time to evaluate what you truly want, what you need, and how this person fits into your life. You begin to understand your worth independent of his presence, and this self-awareness radiates outward. Interestingly, men are instinctively drawn to women who know their own value. When they sense that you are living your life fully, not waiting on them for validation or happiness, it awakens respect and curiosity. It makes them pause and reconsider how they perceive you and your place in their life. They start to recognize that they are not just missing your physical presence, but the emotional connection that cannot be replaced or replicated. Time apart also allows emotions that were previously ignored or suppressed to surface. Often, men are not immediately aware of the depth of their feelings until they are confronted with the absence of the person they care about. Memories of shared moments, laughter, and even small gestures that were once taken for granted begin to resurface. These emotion triggers are powerful. They create a longing and a desire to reconnect that might not have been evident before. No contact doesn't manufacture emotions artificially. It simply provides the space for existing feelings to emerge naturally. Perhaps most importantly, the power of absence is that it creates perspective. When a person is constantly present, conflicts, habits, or misunderstandings can overshadow the bigger picture of the relationship. Distance allows both parties to step back and see things more clearly. It gives him the chance to realize what truly matters, what is worth holding on to, and what is worth letting go. This clarity often leads to renewed appreciation and a stronger desire to be part of your life again. In the end, initiating no contact is an act of self-respect, patience, and wisdom. It's a recognition that love, attraction, and connection are not about control or manipulation, but about allowing the natural rhythm of human emotion to unfold. When you create space, you give him the chance to see you, value you, and understand the unique role you play in his life. And in that absence, you may find that what returns is not just attention or contact, but genuine appreciation, renewed connection, and a deeper bond than ever before. When it comes to relationships, one of the most powerful things you can do is demonstrate self-respect and independence. This is exactly what happens when you embrace no contact. By stepping back, you are sending a clear, silent message: I know my worth, and I will not settle for less than I deserve. This is not about playing mind games or manipulating someone's emotions. It is about cultivating a presence that commands respect simply by the way you carry yourself. Men are naturally drawn to confidence, and nothing reflects confidence more clearly than a woman who honors her own value. When he sees that you are living your life fully without relying on him for happiness or validation, it sparks curiosity, admiration, and often a deep longing to reconnect. Self-respect in action is magnetic. It shows that you are not willing to compromise your standards, that you have boundaries, and that you prioritize your own growth and well-being. This is incredibly attractive because it communicates stability and emotional maturity. Men, like anyone, want to be with someone who is whole and complete on their own. They are drawn to the energy of someone who knows themselves, has goals, and lives with intention. When you enforce boundaries and maintain your independence, you create an aura of value that cannot be ignored. You are no longer an option. They begin to see you as someone rare, someone worth returning to. Independence is another key factor in why men return after no contact. When you stop chasing, you stop creating neediness, desperation, or pressure. Instead, you show that your life is vibrant and fulfilling with or without their presence. This shift in energy often causes men to reevaluate their feelings. They start noticing the qualities that initially attracted them: the laughter, the support, the shared experiences, and realize that losing you would be a significant loss. Independence is powerful because it reverses the typical dynamic in which one person is constantly giving attention while the other takes it for granted. By focusing on yourself, you naturally shift the balance in a way that encourages appreciation rather than complacency. Confidence is inseparable from self-respect. When a man sees that you are confident, unshaken by silence, and fully engaged in your own life, it challenges him to step up. He begins to wonder why you are not seeking his attention, and this curiosity often leads to a renewed interest. Confidence demonstrates that you are not easily swayed or manipulated, and it inspires respect. Men respect and return to women who stand firm in their identity, women who understand that their value is not determined by someone else's attention, but by the love, effort, and care they give themselves. It is also important to understand that self-respect communicates emotional intelligence. By maintaining no contact, you show that you can control your emotions, make deliberate decisions, and avoid acting impulsively out of fear, need, or insecurity. Emotional intelligence is highly attractive because it signals maturity and stability, qualities men often subconsciously seek when deciding whether to return or commit. When they see that you can navigate life thoughtfully, they feel compelled to match that energy. Building respect and self-worth is about creating a strong foundation that draws the right kind of attention. Men return not just because you stepped away, but because in doing so, you highlighted your confidence, independence, and personal value. No contact is a tool that allows your self-respect to shine through, reminding him that you are not just someone to be pursued casually. You are a person of substance, strength, and integrity. When a man truly recognizes your value, the connection shifts. He no longer sees you as someone he can take for granted. He sees someone he needs to respect, appreciate, and in many cases pursue. And that is the real magic of self-respect. It doesn't just make him return, it makes him see you for the remarkable person you are. Time apart is one of the most underestimated tools in relationships, yet it holds the power to completely change perspectives. When you step away and initiate no contact, it's not just a pause in communication, it's a period that allows reflection, clarity, and understanding to grow. Men, like anyone, sometimes need distance to process their feelings. In the midst of constant interaction, emotions can become blurred. Daily conversations, routines, and even small disagreements can cloud judgment and prevent someone from seeing the bigger picture. When you remove yourself temporarily, it gives him the space to step back, breathe, and reflect on what he truly feels about you and the connection you share. During no contact, reflection becomes inevitable. Without your constant presence, he begins to notice the subtleties he may have overlooked before. It's often in the quiet moments, when your voice isn't filling his day, that he starts to remember the laughter you shared, the support you gave, and the way you made him feel understood and valued. These reflections aren't just about nostalgia. They are about recognizing emotional depth and the unique role you play in his life. Often men don't fully appreciate this when everything is constant and convenient, but absence removes the distractions and forces clarity to emerge. This period of reflection also allows him to assess his own actions, decisions, and priorities. When someone is always present, it's easy to take them for granted or focus on minor frustrations instead of seeing the bigger picture. Time apart gives him the opportunity to evaluate what truly matters, what he wants in life, and how important your presence is to his emotional well-being. He begins to recognize that your energy, support, and companionship are not easily replaceable. Reflection leads to insight, and insight often leads to a renewed desire to reconnect. Reflection also creates perspective. When people are constantly together, small misunderstandings or miscommunications can feel much larger than they are. Distance allows a man to see these moments in context. He begins to differentiate between temporary irritations and the enduring qualities that make you special. This clarity helps him understand that what he has with you is valuable, meaningful, and worth pursuing. Sometimes this perspective is all it takes for a man to return with a deeper appreciation and a more intentional approach to the relationship. Another critical aspect of reflection is self-awareness. During this time, he is not just thinking about you, he is also thinking about himself. He evaluates how he has contributed to the relationship, where he may have fallen short, and what he needs to do to grow. No contact provides a mirror, not to manipulate him, but to allow natural introspection. As he recognizes his own growth areas, he also realizes the depth of what he may have risked losing. This combination of reflection on both sides creates a powerful foundation for renewed connection. Reflection is not about creating longing through absence alone. It's about allowing emotions, thoughts, and realizations to surface organically. When a man returns after no contact, it is often because he has genuinely processed his feelings and now sees you and the relationship with clarity. The absence creates the mental and emotional space required for these realizations to emerge. No contact works because it activates a process of thought and emotion that cannot happen when you are always present. Reflection leads to understanding. Understanding leads to appreciation, and appreciation leads to renewed interest in emotional connection. The time apart is not a punishment or a trick. It is a powerful opportunity for growth, clarity, and genuine recognition. By giving him this space, you allow him to come back with a renewed perspective, ready to value the connection in a way that he may not have before. When someone steps away and initiates no contact, it often triggers emotions that may have been buried or suppressed. This is particularly true for men, who sometimes process their feelings differently than women. Men often need distance to truly confront their emotions and reflect on the significance of a relationship. When you are constantly present, it is easy for them to become accustomed to your energy, your attention, and your presence, sometimes taking it for granted without realizing its true value. But when you remove yourself from the equation, it awakens a powerful emotional response. Memories, feelings, and unresolved attachments surface, creating a natural pull that draws them back toward you. Emotional triggers are a key reason why men return after no contact. Humans, by nature, are wired to feel attachment and longing when something meaningful is missing from their lives. When a man experiences your absence, he may begin to recall the moments that made him feel alive, appreciated, and supported. It could be the way you laughed at his jokes, the way you understood him without judgment, or the comfort you provided in times of stress. These triggers are not manufactured. They exist in his memory and heart, waiting for the space to emerge. No contact simply allows those feelings to rise to the surface, giving him the chance to confront and process them. Another aspect of emotional triggers is the realization of uniqueness. When he no longer has immediate access to your presence, he begins to recognize the qualities that make you irreplaceable. These are not superficial qualities like appearance or convenience. They are the emotional and mental connections that only you can provide. He may start to appreciate the way you challenge him, the way you support his goals, and the way your presence brings balance and joy into his life. Emotional triggers highlight the depth of your impact, reminding him that not everyone can feel the role you play. This realization often motivates a desire to reconnect and reaffirm the connection. Absence also allows the mind to focus on the positive rather than the negative. In daily interactions, it is easy for small annoyances or conflicts to overshadow the good moments. When you step back, he has the mental space to sift through his memories and focus on the things that truly matter, the laughter, the connection, and the love that exists between you. This mental and emotional shift is powerful. It creates longing and a sense of loss that naturally encourages him to reach out. Emotional triggers work because they are rooted in genuine appreciation, not manipulation. Moreover, no contact encourages emotional maturity. By stepping away, you give him the opportunity to face his feelings without immediate distraction or reaction. This can lead to profound personal insights, helping him understand why he values the relationship, what he truly wants, and how he feels about you. Men who return after this process often do so with a deeper awareness of their emotions and a renewed commitment to honoring the connection. Emotional triggers are about natural human psychology. Men return after no contact because absence awakens what was already there, the feelings, memories, and recognition of your value. When emotions are allowed to surface in their own time, they create a powerful pull toward you. This is why patience, self-respect, and giving space are so important. It's not about creating longing artificially. It's about giving the mind and heart the room to see what truly matters and to act on it. By understanding this, you can see that emotional triggers are a gift of no contact. They give him the chance to reconnect with his feelings, recognize your importance, and return not out of need, but out of genuine appreciation and desire. The emotions that rise during this time often lead to a stronger, more conscious, and more meaningful reconnection than ever before. One of the most powerful aspects of no contact is the opportunity it provides for personal growth, not just for him, but for you as well. When you step back and focus on yourself, you begin to reconnect with your own goals, passions, and sense of purpose. This is incredibly important because relationships are healthiest when both individuals are growing and evolving independently. Men often return after no contact, not just because they miss you, but because they recognize that the person they left behind has grown into someone even more confident, self-aware, and whole. Your growth makes the connection more meaningful and lays the foundation for a deeper, more balanced relationship. During periods of no contact, you have the space to reflect on your own life and what you want from a relationship. You can examine patterns, habits, and areas where you may have allowed compromise or neglect of your own needs. This self-reflection allows you to redefine your boundaries, understand your worth, and establish a stronger sense of identity. When a man observes these changes, even from a distance, he begins to see you in a new light. He sees that you are not just waiting for his attention or approval, but actively building a life that is fulfilling on your own terms. This kind of personal evolution is magnetic. It draws people back, not out of fear or manipulation, but out of genuine admiration and respect. Growth during no contact also allows you to build emotional resilience. By stepping back, you give yourself the chance to process past disappointments, miscommunications, and emotional challenges without external pressure. You learn to navigate your emotions independently, which fosters strength and stability. Men notice this. They are drawn to someone who has the ability to handle life with grace, confidence, and composure. Emotional resilience signals maturity, and maturity creates a sense of reliability and security in relationships. When he sees that you are capable of thriving without him, it often inspires a desire to return. Not just to rekindle what was, but to match your energy and respect the person you've become. Another aspect of personal growth is clarity. Time apart allows both parties to reflect on what they truly want from the relationship. You gain insight into your own needs and boundaries, while he has the opportunity to evaluate his feelings, priorities, and intentions. This clarity often leads to more intentional, meaningful reconnections. A man who returns after no contact does so with a clearer understanding of the value of the relationship, and often with a renewed commitment to nurturing it in a way that is thoughtful and respectful. Growth also fosters confidence, and confidence is incredibly attractive. When you are focused on your personal development, your energy shifts. You no longer appear needy, desperate, or overly dependent on his attention. Instead, you radiate independence, strength, and self-assuredness. Men are naturally drawn to this energy because it demonstrates that you are whole on your own and that being with you is a choice, not a necessity. When a man returns after no contact, it is often because he has seen this confidence in action and realized that he wants to be part of your life on equal, respectful terms. Personal growth is the reason why no contact can lead to stronger, healthier connections. It allows both individuals to evolve, reflect, and gain perspective. When a man returns after this process, it is often not just a return to what was, but a return to something better. A relationship built on mutual respect, understanding, and emotional maturity. The growth you achieve during no contact doesn't just attract him back, it transforms the dynamic of the relationship, creating a foundation for a deeper, more fulfilling connection that is based on authenticity and genuine appreciation. The true power of no contact is not about manipulation or trying to make someone chase you. It is about honoring yourself, setting healthy boundaries, and creating the space for both personal growth and genuine reflection. When you focus on yourself, live your life fully, and prioritize your own happiness, you naturally radiate confidence and self-worth. This energy is magnetic, and it draws the right people to you. People who appreciate you, respect your boundaries, and recognize your value. Men often return after no contact, not because they were coerced or tricked, but because they finally see you clearly and understand the depth of your worth. No contact allows you to step away from the cycle of chasing and waiting, which often leads to frustration and emotional exhaustion. Instead of putting your energy into constant communication or seeking validation, you redirect that energy toward your own growth, passions, and life goals. By doing so, you create a life that is fulfilling and vibrant on your own terms. This independent energy is incredibly attractive because it shows that you are not dependent on someone else for your happiness. Men are drawn to women who are strong, self-sufficient, and confident, and this is why no contact can be so effective. It highlights your independence and underscores the reality that your presence is a choice, not a given. Another essential aspect of the power of no contact is that it fosters clarity, not just for him, but for you as well. During this period, both parties have the opportunity to evaluate what they truly want from the relationship. You gain insight into your own needs, desires, and boundaries while he has the time to reflect on his feelings, priorities, and intentions. This clarity often leads to a more meaningful and intentional reconnection because it is based on understanding rather than habit or convenience. When he returns, it is not just a return to the familiar, but a return to a stronger, more conscious connection where both parties are more aligned and self-aware. No contact also allows emotional maturity to flourish. By stepping away, you demonstrate that you can handle life thoughtfully, make deliberate decisions, and maintain your composure without relying on external validation. Men are drawn to this maturity because it signals reliability, stability, and emotional intelligence, all of which are essential for a healthy, lasting relationship. When he sees that you can navigate life independently, he begins to understand the significance of your presence in his life and the respect that you command. It's important to remember that the power of no contact is not about creating longing or making someone feel regretful. It's about giving space for natural processes to occur, reflection, emotional awareness, personal growth, and clarity. When you step back and prioritize yourself, you are creating an environment where genuine appreciation can surface. Men who return after this process often do so with a deeper understanding of what you mean to them and a renewed desire to contribute positively to the relationship. The true magic of no contact is that it transforms the dynamic of the relationship. It shifts it from one based on dependence, pursuit, or habit to one built on respect, self-awareness, and mutual appreciation. Men return not just because they miss you, but because they recognize your value, the strength of your boundaries, and the fulfillment you bring into their life. The right people will always gravitate towards you when you honor yourself in your journey. No contact is not a tactic. It is a practice of self-respect, patience, and authenticity. When you embrace it, you allow the universe to work in your favor, drawing back into your life the people who truly belong there. The men who return do so not out of obligation, but out of genuine recognition, desire, and respect. And that ultimately is the true power of no contact. It attracts the right connections while honoring your own worth, creating relationships that are stronger, healthier, and more meaningful than ever before.